Welcome to your Monday Morning Pearl. I'm Steve Keck. Today, we're going to continue our conversation around building a mindset for heritage in your professional development. Last week, we talked about setting others up for success. And this week, we're going to talk about something different, setting them up for adventure. It seems counterintuitive that adventure could be part of professional development when it comes to work, but you have to remember, most of our careers are non-linear. There's always a unique way for our career paths to evolve. And so I want you to think about how can you actually be a little bit more intentional to create a little bit of adventure into the work lives of those around you. So how does this work in the mindset of heritage? Being intentional about creating an adventure or an experience for someone that you work with helps them to create something that's memorable. So much of our day-to-day work can be routine, mundane, and generally boring. But you can be a little bit intentional about creating something that's more of an adventure for someone to help them feel more fulfilled throughout the day. People's brains are designed to actually prefer to remember the positives in a moment in time. For example, if you went to Disneyland, you're not going to remember the hour and 45 minutes you stood in line in the heat. You'll remember the experience of the ride that you went on. We're designed to remember moments over the entirety of the experience. But the more moments of adventure you have within a work life, the better the experience overall will be about how they grew while working with you. One of the ways I used to do this to help break up the routine of our day in one of my offices was I would come out to the bullpen and say, hey, I've got this particular solution I need to find. Who wants in? And let them choose who wanted to be involved in solving this particular problem. Used to be one person would raise their hand, and then two, and sometimes three. And then we'd figure out how they were going to attack this problem together so we could collectively understand what the solution needed to be. And sometimes I would break up the work in a way that would allow each employee to step outside of their comfort zones. So for example, if I had one employee that was really good at working through policy manuals versus someone who was really good at picking up the phone and calling around for answers, I would flip the work for them and require them to get better at each of the opposite things, and then work together to accomplish it so that they both can improve in both ways. In creating these small adventures, it allows your employees to begin to trust that you're going to create an environment for them that is not just routine. And they begin to trust that growth is an active part of this job. And that in itself creates the environment for someone to generate a greater heritage of how to do things well. If you're trying to work it into the opposite direction towards your boss, one of the things you can do is you can sort of choose your own adventure by figuring out places and ways for you to come alongside them to help them with their initiatives. That is saying, hey, I'd really like to take an opportunity at dealing with this so that I can help you get this particular initiative moving forward. So you can create those adventures, and what you're really trying to do is create an environment of trust where they allow you to take a stab at it. I've even done this when a boss said, I really just have to get this out by a certain time, so I don't have the time for you to be able to learn it. And I just said, hey, I really do want to learn this, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. Can we follow up afterward when you have a little bit of time and you can show me how close I came to whatever it is you produced for the executive team? It's just a way to break up the routine and give yourself an opportunity to develop a heritage for personal development. So this week, I'd like for you to consider, how are you creating a sense of adventure in your environment for those around you? What can you do in the small ways to create and break up the routine and create some interest and engagement around finding new ways to do things? You'll inherit all the benefits of the personal development around you if you create this environment. So set your sights on adventure this week and see what surprises await you. And as always, if you or your team are looking for better personal development when it comes to your sales environment, reach out to us. You can find us on our website or one of our social channels.